Well, Braven, we're liable to see that break most any minute. Golseth is in kick formation, standing on the Wisconsin 15-yard line on 4th and 6 for the Badger. Gets the boot away, he's rushed. Gets it away, nice kick going way downfield to the 22-yard line. It's picked up there by Carmichael. Carmichael coming back to the 30-yard line, to the 35-yard line, before he's hit and stopped by Stensby. Stensby making the stop, along with Amundsen. That's Norman Amundsen from Chicago. Boy, Amundsen, number 60, 195 pounds, Chicago sophomore, playing for Wisconsin up in the line. Now let's see. Southern California going on the offense on their own 35-yard line, 15 yards in the sideline on the side of the field. Single wing with Bukic, coming way out wide to the right. Rudy Bukic is at halfback now with a reverse over to Al Carmichael. The reverse going off the left side of the line, picking up to the 37-yard line. The boy is hit and stopped by Don Voss, the defensive right end of Wisconsin. Ball on the 37-yard line, equidistant between sidelines. And for the Trojans, 2nd down and 7 on a 3-yard pickup. Up to the line of scrimmage come the Trojans. Unbalanced over to the right up front. Send a wide flanker out to the right on the single wing. Bukic in the tailback. Hands the ball over to Carmichael. A short reverse behind the line of scrimmage. The same play that they worked before for 3 yards. Bucks over to the 40-yard line as he cracks off his own left tackle on the weak side. Right up to the 40, falls forward as he's tackled at the 41 with John Dixon, the middle linebacker from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, making the stop for the Badgers. The ball is still equidistant between sidelines on the Trojan 41-yard line. 3rd down and 4. Carmichael has run twice he's picked up. This is Al Helper right back at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, along with Braven Dyer. We're ready to go with Wisconsin on their own 21st and 10. Romtey in the backfield, wing out to the right. The ball is given off to Amici on the handoff from Haluska, and the big fellow tries the right side of the line, hits the 20-yard line, spins as he gets away from one man, but Bill Hattig comes in along with George Timberlake to make the tackle right on the 21-yard line. So it's actually a pickup of 1 yard. So far this afternoon, the Trojan defense has been able to halt the onrushes of Alan Amici, the big fullback from Kenosha, Wisconsin. 2nd down coming up, and approximately 8.5 yards to gain. Ball 15 yards in the sideline across the way. Wisconsin's ball on their own 21.5. Flacker out to the left is Gerald DeWitt. The ball is handed off to the halfback, Bill Hutchinson, who streaks through behind Amici and hits the right side of the line, goes nowhere. Bob Bibiani, I believe his young fellow made the stop down there. Have a Wisconsin injury apparently on this play. We'll put the glasses on and see if we can find out exactly who it is. And time is being taken out by Wisconsin because of the injury on the field. Looks as though it might be Bill Hutchinson, the fellow who just carried that ball. We're very fortunate here this afternoon in having as our spotter from Wisconsin, the young fellow who does the broadcasting for Wisconsin up on the Wisconsin Network, Mr. Ed Hansen. And we've been really giving him a workout this afternoon on the other side of the fence for the Trojans of Southern California. Again, we're fortunate in having the assistant director of athletic public information, and that's Dick Bank. Had a long talk with Dick, and he had all the offensive information for us prior to the ball game. So with the able assistance of these two gentlemen, we're able to dish out the players that are on the field right now. Hutchinson apparently has been shaken up a little on the play, but Braven, I don't believe he's injured very badly, do you?
Well, I was looking at his leg there. I thought it was his leg he hurt, but apparently it's not his leg. He's just, as you say, shaken up around the head and shoulders was all, and he's up now and walking off the field. They're assisting him off, and number 15 going in to replace him, and that is Archie Burks.
That's right, Braven, it is Burks coming in. That's Archie Burks from Louisville, Kentucky, incidentally. He's a 165-pound senior. So he'll be running at left halfback in place of Bill Hutchinson. And one note here you might mark. We have 2 minutes and 14 seconds left to play in the first period of a scoreless ball game, and Wisconsin has not thrown one forward pass as yet. We don't know whether they're holding them back or whether they figure that they're going to do a little running to see how strong the Trojan defenses might be. Now with Burks in there for Hutchinson, it is he being sent on the flank in the T formation in the backfield. Haluska behind the balance line, takes his ball, fades off to the right. He's going to throw this time. He does. And tosses the break on the 25. He sends it to 30, to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, and hit and knocked out of bounds on the 50-yard line on this side of the field. Young Burks, Archie Burks, taking a very fine pass from Haluska and steps his way to the 50-yard line as Wisconsin picks up a first down right on the 50.
Number 89 is rolled out of bounds to this field side. So,
we have an injury for Wisconsin, for the Trojans this time. It looks as though it is Landon Exley, the Santa Monica sophomore, playing defensive right halfback for the Trojans. It is he who has been shaken up on this play, and the trainers are out administering to him right now. We are very happy to be able to tell you that Bill Hutchinson was just shaken up on that last play. Burks replaced him, received the pass, the only one thrown so far by Wisconsin, and it was good. The ball being stepped out of bounds by Burks on the 50-yard line as it was hit pretty hard by the safety man, Sears. Went out of bounds on the 50, so it is Wisconsin's ball, first down and 10 yards to go on the 50. The Trojan boy is getting up on his feet right now. Number 35, Landon Exley from Santa Monica, California. He's walking around. He's going to be all right. Boy, this ball game is being played right down to the 11 here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena this afternoon under bright, brilliant, sunshiny skies in California. This is the kind of weather that they like to tell you about out here in California. They've certainly turned it on this afternoon for the granddaddy of the classics, the Rose Bowl game. Exley's going out of the ball game for the Trojans, and it's going to be Frank Clayton coming on. Frank Clayton coming on at defensive right halfback. Frank Clayton is from Alhambra, California. He's another sophomore, weighing 183 pounds. Wisconsin on the offense. First and 10 on the 50. 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. A flanker to the right is Burks. The ends are split wide on the balanced line. Haluska still calling the signals for Wisconsin. Upside under center. Takes the ball. Fakes one handoff. And on the stutter play, gives the ball to his left halfback. Or rather, his right halfback, Gerald Witt. Witt through the left side of the line. Drives up to the 46-yard line of the Trojans, where he's stopped by Riddle. Bill Riddle from El Centro, California, backing up the right side of the Trojan line now in place of George Timberlake. The ball on the 46-yard line, 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. So it's another case of driving downfield now for Wisconsin. They are on the Trojan 46-yard line, second down and 6 yards to go. Burks once more goes to the flank on the tight tee, rather on a loose tee in the backfield. Ball taken by Haluska with the end split wide. He fakes back. And fakes as if to keep the ball, but it is given over to Michi, the fullback, and he pounds, drives, fights his way through the right side of the line, hits up to the 41-yard line, where he stopped at the 41 and bounced back to about the 42. He was hit hard that time by Riddle, the right linebacker. So the ball is resting on the 42-yard line in Trojan territory, equidistant between sidelines on the Trojan 42. Third and 2 for Wisconsin. And this is the best-looking offensive threat the Badgers have put on all afternoon. Have about a minute and 27 seconds left to play in the first period of a scoreless ball game between the Trojans and the Badgers. Flank tee to the right for Wisconsin. Haluska again taking the ball, fading off to the right. He's being chased, and they climb on his back as he hands the ball off to Burks, and comes around the left side. And Burks moves to the 30, hit on the 30, spins over to the 20, and is finally knocked out of bounds as he bounces back on the 21. He was hit hard by Frank Clayton and Jim Sears. You can almost say that was a variation of the old Statue of Liberty play. Everyone climbed on Haluska's back, figuring he still had the ball. He flipped it sort of in a backhand motion to his halfback Burks coming around. And Burks streaked all the way to the Trojan 22-yard line. On the 22, where it is now first down and 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern California 22-yard line. Out come the white shirts with the cardinal pants. The Badgers of Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 22-yard line. Flanker to the right in the tee, behind the balance line. Haluska takes the ball, pitches back to Amici. It's a wide sweep around the right side. Amici on the move is hit at the 20-yard line and is knocked out of bounds on the 17 as he staggers 3 more yards after having been hit by Harry Welsh of Akron, Ohio. Harry Welsh playing defensive halfback in place of Harry Soltis, who was ruled ineligible here at Southern California. Harry Welsh playing the defensive post, hit the big fella, and finally knocked him out of bounds on the 17-yard line. So it is second down and 5 as Amici picked up 5 on the play. Wisconsin down in Southern California territory on the 17, 15 yards in the sideline across the way. Sending a flanker to the left. Wisconsin, that is Gerald Witt on the flank. Haluska calls his signals out, takes the ball, and on a stutter play, hands off to Burks, who tries the right side of the line, drives down to the 15, and picks up another yard after he's smashed at the 15-yard line and drops on the 14, hit by Harry Welsh. This Welsh weighs 168 pounds, and you should have seen him going after this big Alan Amici, 205 pounds a few moments ago. He really put his head down and bored right in. The ball is resting on the 15-yard line in Trojan territory, 15 yards in from the sideline across the way, which is the eastern sideline. Wisconsin has the ball, 3rd and 3 on the Trojan 14-yard line. Flank tee to the left for the Trojans. Again, Haluska waits for that pass from center, takes it and pitches back. The ball is fumbled by Amici, and is dropped back on the 18-yard line. A fumble picked up by Amici, and he stopped on the 18-yard line for a loss of about 4. It was Bob Hooks coming in very fast with Elmer Wilhoit, the left guard. Bob Hooks, the Los Angeles senior, playing defensive right end for the Trojans, and Elmer Wilhoit from Winton, California. He's a senior guard at 217 pounds. Now let's see, coming in for the Trojans, 4th and 7. We have Burton Hubley and Paul Swaco. Looks as though we're going to have a field goal attempt. Paul Swaco probably will try for that field goal, and Burton Hubley from Bloomer, Wisconsin, the senior, will probably do the holding. At least that is the information that seems to be the consensus. The ball is resting on the 18-yard line, almost equidistant between sidelines, almost in front of the goalposts of the Trojans. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Paul Swaiko, S-H-W-A-I-K-O, Kenosha, Wisconsin freshman, is going to try a field goal, and he will kick that ball from the 25-yard line with Burton to hold for him. Crane in at center for Wisconsin to pass that ball. Ready for the signals to be called. They are called. The ball is snapped, placed, and kicked. And it is no good. It is down on the 5-yard line of the Trojans. Picked up by Burt, and he comes back to about the 7-yard line as the gun ends to sound for the first period of this ball game. So the first quarter is all over, and just a moment, our red flag down on the field. It looks as though we're going to have an offside penalty to be charged against the Trojans. And if so, we may have this play before the second quarter begins, because the play was in motion before the gun sounded to end the first quarter of the ball game. And now the captains of Southern California talking with the officials. It looks as though we're going to have this play over before the quarter actually ends. So a 5-yard penalty against the Trojans for being offside. Puts the ball down on the 14-yard line. And it means the ball will be kicked off of about the 20. There is the first penalty in this afternoon's ball game that has meant anything of any kind. So we'll give the ball club a chance on 4th and 7 now to kick shorter. Burks and Gerald Witt are in there now. They're not going to try the field goal. Witt and Burks have come back. There's a flanker to the right on 4th and 7. Oliska takes the ball, pitches over to Onishi. Onishi following Gerald Witt, drives down to about the 14-yard line, 13-yard line, and is hit and dropped by Harry Wells. So the Trojans hold. And the first period, ladies and gentlemen, is all over, and it's scoreless. I'd like to talk to the men for just a moment here. How you fix for blades, men? Yes, easy shaving Gillette Blue Blades. You know how it is when you find you're out. So start the new year right by keeping plenty on hand. Right now, you'll get a combination package holding a 35-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, leather or brushless, and a 20-blade Gillette dispenser for just 98 cents, the regular price of the blades alone. Gillette shaving creams are the swellest beard softeners you ever use. What's more, they contain K34, the amazing antiseptic that destroys infectious facial bacteria. Ask for Gillette's bonus facial. Get the combination package holding both Gillette Blue Blades and Gillette shaving cream. The supply is limited, so don't delay. Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. Now as the ball clubs change side, Wisconsin now defending the goal to our left, which is the northern goal, and Southern California, the goal to our right, the southern goal. It's Southern Cal's ball, 1st and 10, on their own 14-yard line. 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. From the tailback position, it is Butch. Trying off the right side, trying to slide between right tackle and right end. Moves up to the 14-yard line or the line of scrimmage where Jerry Werman makes a stop for Wisconsin. This Milwaukee, Wisconsin senior's played a pretty good ball game this afternoon so far defensively. He's made a couple of knifing tackles, sifting through the Trojan blockers to make the stops. The Trojans on 2nd down is still 10. Abduk is fading back to throw a forward pass. He does, and Don Stillwell, the left end from San Francisco, has the ball off the end of his fingertips on the 20-yard line with George O'Brien backing up the right side of the Wisconsin line over there to help break up the play. It'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go now for the Trojans on their own 14-yard line. Des Cook is coming in for Sellers. That means that Des Cook will do the kicking as it is 3rd and 10, and the Trojans aren't going to take much of a chance on their own 14-yard line. The ball comes back, however, to Bukic. And Bukic is cut way back on his own 5-yard line. He's going to do passing from a short kick formation. And was unable to get the pass away. Donald Voss coming in fast to make the stop for Wisconsin. Pushing back to the 5-yard line. So it is 4th now, 4th down. And about 19 to 20 yards to go for the Trojans back on their own 5-yard line. Trojans ball in their possession. They have it on their own 5, 4th and about between 19 and 20. The double safety for Wisconsin is Burks and Swaiko. They're standing on the Wisconsin 45-yard line. Cook will go back in kick formation for the Trojans when they come out of the huddle and move up to the line of scrimmage. We're in the second period of the ball game. There is no score between the Trojans of Southern California and the Badgers from the University of Wisconsin representing the Big Ten. The Pacific Coast Conference and the Big Ten at it again here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. They all being sent your way over this NBC network. Des Cook, standing deep in his own end zone, almost out of the playing field, takes a pass from center about chest high, has time, kicks the ball nicely away. It's a beauty. Coming downfield to the 40-yard line, where it's taken by Burks. Burks coming back after a fake to the 45-yard line and is hit and slowed under on his own 49-yard line. Harold Hahn, the Honolulu junior, making the stop for the University of Southern California. The ball is just about equidistant between sidelines on the Wisconsin 49-yard line, where it'll be Wisconsin's ball, 1st and 10. The Badgers have Jimmy Haluska at quarterback, Burks at left halfback, at right halfback Gerald Witt, and the fullback is Alan Amici. The ends are Peters and Andrzejkowski. The tackles Burke and Pritchlick, Steinmetz and Stensby the guards, and Simkowski is the center. Flanker to the right on the tee with Haluska taking the ball and feeding it off to his halfback Burks, who follows one-man interference down to the 50-yard line, hit at the 50 and picks up about another yard as Marv Goo, the defensive linebacker for the Trojans, comes in, rolls under to make the stop. The ball is on the Southern California 49-yard line for a pickup of 2 yards, makes it 2nd and 8 for Wisconsin on the Southern California 49. Just about 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. Second period of the ball game, no score. Flanker to the left on the tee with Haluska pitching out to his fullback Amici. Around the right side goes Amici to the line of scrimmage and steps out of bounds on about the 48 after a yard pickup. Charlie Ane, the big left tackle from Honolulu, pushed Amici out of bounds. After a yard pickup makes it 3rd and approximately 7. 3rd and about 7. The ball is on the 48-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 7. The white-shirted Badgers going back into their huddle, moving up to the line of scrimmage, operating the T formation. They keep their backfield in tight as the end split wide. Then the left end, Peters crawls in a yard or two. Ball is taken by Haluska, and on a delayed line buck, it is Amici driving through the middle of the line with a red flag going down on the field. Amici winds up on the 43-yard line, but a red flag has gone down on the field. Let's see whether it's going to be Southern California or Wisconsin to draw the penalty. Apparently it's going to be Southern California. George Timberlake made the stop that time of Amici, which is all we're going to get an unnecessary roughness penalty being charged against the University of Southern California. If so, it'll cost them 15 yards from the 48-yard line. And Mr. Springer, the referee, will be stepping it off in just a moment. It is an unnecessary roughness penalty being stepped off against the University of Southern California. Puts the ball down on their 34-yard line and gives Wisconsin first down and 10 yards to go, with the ball resting about 16 to 17 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. That's the western sideline. So Wisconsin gets a break here, gets 1st and 10 on the Trojan 34. As Haluska calls out the signals once more for the Badgers back in the huddle. They come to the line of scrimmage, sending a flanker to the left. Gerald Witt is the flanker, 184-pound halfback. Haluska tight under center, ready to take that ball from the center. He does, takes off, and then finally hands the ball to Amici, who tries the left side of the line and gets over the 35, then over the line of scrimmage at the 34 and picks up just 1 yard as Bob Van Doren, right tackle and defensive co-captain for the Southern California Trojans, makes the stop. Bob Van Doren, co-captain, playing defensive right tackle. He's 203 pounds from San Diego, California. Flanker to the right for Wisconsin on 2nd and 9. Haluska again takes the ball, fades back. It's going to be the second forward pass, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted on the 25-yard line by the left halfback, Harry Welsh. He comes right back to the 30-yard line, is hit at the 30-yard line and bounced back a yard before he's finally down on his own 29-yard line. Gerald Witt finally made the stop. That ball was intended for Andrzejkowski, and it was intercepted by Harry Welsh, the Akron, Ohio boy, the senior left halfback for the University of Southern California. So there's the first interception this afternoon, and the tide has turned right now with the Trojans taking over. Going out to the right to single wing behind an unbalanced line. In the tailback position is Bukic. He takes the ball, fades off to the right, looking for someone to pass to. Who's being rested, decides to keep the ball, runs it back to the 30, hit at the 30 on the far sideline, and dropped out of bounds on the 31. Bukich, Bukic, from St. Louis, Missouri. Dixon, the middle linebacker. That's John Dixon from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. Made the stop finally, pushing Bukic out of bounds on the 31-yard line. It'll be second down and approximately 9 yards to go for the Trojans as the ball is walked into the hash marker, 15 yards from the sideline across the way. And about 12 minutes left to play in the first half of the ball game. It's still scoreless between Southern Cal and Wisconsin. There's a hike to the left for Southern Cal, and Carmichael takes a handoff. As a reverse is the play behind the line of scrimmage. Carmichael going into the right side of the line with one-man interference. Is hit by Saminsky and Roger Dornberg. Well, about 2-yard gain on that play, and that was all. Makes third and about 7 yards to go, with the ball resting on approximately the 33-yard line in Southern California territory in the possession of the Trojans. Hike over to the right to single wing. The tailback is Bukic. Up back full is Leon Sellers. Bukic takes the ball, fades back, throws a pass. It's completed. Down on the 44-yard line to Nikolov. And as soon as he catches the ball, he steps out of bounds. Dom Nikolov stepping out of bounds on his own 44-yard line to give the Trojans the first down and 10 yards to go. Dom Nikolov, the Los Angeles senior. Big fellow, 218 pounds. Very nice pass fired that time by Bukic. He's been playing at offensive left halfback in place of Jim Sears, who started the ball game. First down and 10 for Southern Cal on their own 44-yard line. Cracked over to the right to single wing near the sideline across the way. Bukic takes the ball, fakes that pass, and puts his head down and rams right into the middle of the line. Hits from the 45-yard line up to about the 47-yard line before he's finally stopped. Stopped that time by Kennedy and by Dixon. Bob Kennedy from Rhinelander, Wisconsin, playing the middle guard position for Wisconsin. Right on the 47-yard line, where the 3-yard pickup makes it 2nd and 7 for Southern California. The ball is just about equidistant between sidelines on the Southern Cal 47-yard line. Hike to the right, the single wing. Bukic playing in the tailback spot. Fades back, throws a pass across the line of scrimmage. A lazy pass taken by Miller at the 45-yard line, Wisconsin territory, and he's hit by Burks there and finally gets out of bounds on the 41-yard line. I said, Burks, make that Swayko. Make that Swayko. Finally hit him. On the Wisconsin 41-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 yards to go as forward passing has gotten Southern Cal 2 first downs here in rapid succession. There was no score in the ball game. At left end coming in now for Southern California, Don Stillwell from San Francisco, relieving Ron Miller. So we have Nikolov and Stillwell at the ends now for Southern California. Bob Cox, the Pasadena boy, is playing at right guard for Southern Cal. Welsh, Wilhoit, Thompson, and Weeks in the forward wall. Hike to the right to single wing behind the unbalanced line with Bukic in the tailback. Bukic fades off to the right and cracks back over his own right tackle. Hits to the 40-yard line and stopped at the 40 for a yard pickup. Dixon, along with Donald Voss, making the stop. Voss came in close to make the pinch, and Dixon was the boy who hit high just about the waist. The ball is on the 40-yard line for a pickup of a yard, making it 2nd and 9 for Southern Cal on the Wisconsin 40. Looks as though Southern Cal's on the drive now as they hike again to the single wing. Bukic in the tailback. He takes the ball, steps back 1, 2, 3 steps, throws a spot pass across the line of scrimmage, complete to Don Stillwell on the 35-yard line. Stillwell fights his way for 2 more as he moves down to the 33. Nixon again in on the play. John Dixon. Boy, Dixon's playing a good middle linebacker job here on defense for Wisconsin. The ball on the 33-yard line makes it 3rd down coming up. Just about a yard and a half to go. Southern Cal on the move, running from the single wing over to the right. Bukic in the tailback. Southern Cal jumps off as red flag goes down the field. That's going to cost them 5 yards. Their left guard, Ed Pucci, jumped the gun. Ed Pucci, the Canton, Ohio junior, playing on the left side of the Southern California line. That'll cost them 5 yards. And move the ball back now to the 47-yard line. Correction, 37-yard line. 33 and 5 make that 38. 38-yard line, Wisconsin. Southern California's ball, running from a single wing to the right, makes it 3rd and 7. Bukic takes that ball, fades off to the right, then looks for someone to pass to, and does hit Stillwell at the 30-yard line. He steps to the 25. Is hit, knocked out of bounds on the 22-yard line by Swayko. That pass from Bukic to Don Stillwell has been operating well for Southern California, and they've picked up their 3rd first down in a row. The ball resting down on the Wisconsin 23-yard line as it's placed by Mr. Springer, the referee. So it is first down and 10 yards to go. 1st and 10 for the Southern California Trojans on the Wisconsin 23. 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. Running out of the single wing to the right. With Bukic in the tailback, Sellers the up back full playing close. The ball coming back again to Bukic. He fades back, gets a pass away, and it is intercepted by Wisconsin. Intercepted, I believe, by Ronald Lachlan. Intercepted by Ronald Lachlan. Right on the 13-yard line, and he's hit and dropped immediately by the potential receiver, Al Carmichael. So there's a break that will help Wisconsin tremendously as the Trojans were on the march. First down and 10 yards to go for the Badgers on their own 13-yard line, the ball equidistant between sidelines. Coming in at quarterback is Haluska for Wisconsin. The left halfback will be Burks. The right halfback, Gerald Witt. At fullback, Alan Amici. With the ends split wide and a flanker to the left. The 10 in the backfield with Haluska operating. Pitches the ball back as Amici takes it and takes off to the right, then cuts back over his own left tackle. Drives up to the 15-yard line and hit after the 2-yard pickup by Bob Van Doren and Bob Hooks. Makes it second down. Coming up for Wisconsin, about 8 yards to go, 2nd and 8. The ball resting on the 15-yard line, 15 yards in from the sideline across the way. And this, the second period of the first half. No score between Wisconsin and Southern California. And we've been seeing a rip snorter so far this afternoon. Good defensive work all the way around. Burks goes to the flank for Wisconsin, way out wide to the rack. The ends are held in just about a yard split wide. On a stutter play, the ball given to the right halfback, Gerald Witt. He's through the left side of the line, steps his way to the 20, and moves over to about the 22-yard line before he's hit and finally dropped by Bob Piviani, the left guard who trailed the play over and caught his man sort of catty-corner from behind. The ball on the 22-yard line. Third down, and let's see, the yardage down there will be about a yard and a half. Third and about a yard and a half. Flanker goes to the right for Wisconsin. The flanker is Burks. Haluska taking the ball, pitches back to his fullback Amici. Off the right side goes Amici as Marv Gu comes in and hits him at the line of scrimmage. But Amici, I believe, has picked up enough to make it a first down for Wisconsin on approximately their 24-yard line. The officials are taking an official timeout to measure, to make sure that it is or is not a first down. Let's see what the final decision is. This chain is being stretched now. And it is enough for a first down for Wisconsin on their own 24. The ball is equidistant between sidelines on the Wisconsin 24. First down and 10 yards to go for the Badgers as they once more go back to the huddle. Peters, Pritchlick, Steinmetz, Simkowski, Stensby, Berndt, and Verkowski up to the forward wall. The backfield, Haluska, Witt, Burks, and Amici. Back to the right is Burks. Haluska, behind the center, takes the ball and feeds it off to his fullback. And a fake, and then hands it over to DeWitt coming around. And DeWitt's through the right side, out on the 40-yard line. Hit from behind on his own 45 as he streaks into the clear. And trying to run the sidelines is knocked out of bounds on his own 47-yard line. Lyndon Crow making the stop. He's the Corcoran, California sophomore, playing defensive halfback for Southern California. It's another Wisconsin first down. Ball resting on the 47-yard line in Wisconsin territory. Wisconsin's ball, first down and 10 yards to go. A very nice fake handoff to Amici, the fullback, and they were playing the big fella. Haluska hit the ball on his side and flipped the ball on back then to Witt coming around, and Jerry made it a first down on the 47. This time the handoff goes to the fullback. To the left side of the line he goes, and up to the 50. Struggles and fights his way for what looks like 2 more yards, over to the 48-yard line. The official places it on the 49 in Southern Cal territory. Makes it second down and 6. Again, co-captain Van Doren making the stop for Southern California. No score in the ball game. Wisconsin nothing, Southern California nothing. And the 39th Rose Bowl game. Pasadena, California. Flanker to the left is Gerald Witt. Ends come in a step or two now. They're split wide about a yard. Haluska takes the ball and pitches off to Burks, who comes around the left side, steps his way through 2 men. Finally is hit on the far sideline and down on the 46-yard line in Southern California territory. George Timberlake from Long Beach, California, making the stop for Southern California. The ball on the 46-yard line, 15 yards in the sideline across the way. Third down coming up for Wisconsin, 3 yards to go. Gillette Safety Razor Company sending you all the information from the Rose Bowl game over this NBC network. Flanker to the right for Wisconsin on the T formation. That'll be halfback Burks. Haluska waiting for the ball to be snapped. He takes it, and on a stutter play, hands it off finally to his halfback Witt coming around. Witt at the line of scrimmage. Is hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage on the far side, but the entire right side of the Southern California line. Van Doren again in on the play, helped by Hooks and Wilhoit. And the official said, let me have time here. Wisconsin has taken a little time out, which is why we're going to have a penalty inflicted against Wisconsin for having back in motion. And the clock begins to run. The ball is now on the 49-yard line. After that 5-yard loss, makes it 4th down, about 8 yards to go. And Golseth comes in to kick for Wisconsin. From the kick formation, Golseth standing back on his 38-yard line. Carmichael is back in safety. The ball is kicked, and it is out of bounds on the far side of the field. Let's see where the official's going to place that one. That'll be on the 25-yard line. And while they line up now for 1st and 10 for the Trojans on their own 25-yard line. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
For as long as we
to go for the Trojans on their own 25-yard line. The ball is about equidistant between sidelines. At less than 4 minutes to play in the first half of the scoreless ball game between Wisconsin and Southern California. Wide flanker to the right, with Bukic in the tailback, fading back to his own 10, throws a pass across the line of scrimmage, and it is incomplete. Incomplete, intended for Al Carmichael. Goes incomplete. That was a slick play if it had worked. But say, men, for the slickest, most refreshing shaves of your life, prepare your beard with Gillette shaving cream, lather or brushless, and skim it off with a Gillette Blue Blade in your Gillette razor. 4th down and 6 for the Trojans. The ball on their own 25-yard line. Burks and Swaco go into double safety for Wisconsin, back on the Wisconsin 30. And coming in to kick is Des Cook, the Shelton, Washington boy. Standing on the Trojan 10-yard line, hands outstretched, leaning forward, waiting for the ball to be snapped. It's snapped. He gets a nice boot away. It's a dandy. Coming downfield, this kid can kick down to the 20-yard line. Burks picks up on the 20, back to the 25, to the 30, still on his feet, and finally hit and knocked down on the 35. Ed Pucci making the stop for Southern California. The ball on the 30-yard line, just nose over the 30. First down and 10 yards to go. 1st and 10 for Wisconsin. 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining as the officials are warning both teams. 4 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the first half of the ball game, which is scoreless here at Pasadena this afternoon. Wisconsin out of their huddle to the line of scrimmage. Burks goes to the flank to the right, moving over right down below our NBC microphones. Handoff in the backfield to Alan Michie, the big fullback, bowls his way through the left side of the line, over to the 40-yard line, hit at the 40, spins away from 2 men, and pushes his way over Bob Bibiani, who finally makes a stop, to the 42-yard line. That'll be the 2nd down coming up. Got about 3 yards to go. 2nd and about 3. Wisconsin's ball on their own 42-yard line. Flank back to the right for Wisconsin on the tee. Haluska, still a quarterback for Wisconsin, calls his signals. Grabs that ball and hands off to his right halfback, Gerald Witt, who punches through the right side of the line over the 45 and hits down to about the 46. Charlie Ane, 254-pound left tackle from Honolulu. Making the stop for Southern California. It's enough for 1st down on the Badgers' 46. The ball equidistant between sidelines on the Wisconsin 46-yard line. The ball in possession of Wisconsin. No score in the ball game between Southern California and Wisconsin. We've seen a Rip Sorter, and Braven Dyer's pencil's been working over there a mile a minute. He'll have a lot of comment to make on this one, I know. Flank G to the right for Wisconsin. Haluska takes the ball, fades off to the right, gets pretty good protection, fades on back to his own 35-yard line, throws a pass across the line of scrimmage, intended for Burks at the 50, and he can't keep his hands on it. It slides through his fingertips. Marv Gu was right behind him, the defensive linebacker of Southern California. Had he made the catch, Gu was right on him to make the tackle. The ball dropped through Burke's fingers. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 for Wisconsin. Ball walked right back to their 46-yard line. One thing we can say about this ball game in the first half, we've seen very, very few penalties. We've had 1 penalty for unnecessary roughness, and that was charged against Southern California. It's the only 15-yard penalty we've had this afternoon. We've had mostly offside penalties and 1 for backfield in motion. Other than that, we have had a very fine, clean ball game and a hard-fought ball game here this afternoon. Flanker to the right is Burks for Wisconsin on the balanced line at T formation. Ball given to Witt on the stutter play. Witt through the middle of the line, drags his way up, and I mean literally drags his way up to the midfield stripe, goes over the midfield stripe and hits down to the 46-yard line before he's stopped by Bob Piviani, the left guard of Southern California, on the 46-yard line. Ball's being placed down about 20 yards in from the sideline across the way. Makes it 3rd down coming up and just about 2 yards to go. Slightly more than 2. The closer I expect to 3. Across the way, the Trojan cheering section setting up a howl to hold that line. Once more, Haluska sends his flanker Burks to the right on the tee. Behind the balanced line, Haluska takes the ball, turns around, pitches back to Amici. Following 1-man interference, Amici makes the line of scrimmage. It's hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped. Bill Hattig making the stop. Bill Hattig, 164 pounds. That fellow's in on a lot of plays. He can really go. It's 4th and 2 now for Wisconsin on their own, or on the Southern Cal's 45-yard line. The 4th down and just about 1.5 yards to go. 4th, about 1.5. Coming in will be Golseth to do the kicking for Wisconsin. We have about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Too many timeouts for Wisconsin. It's cost them 5 yards, and the ball is stepped back to their 49-yard line. Ernest Dundoy is in double safety with Al Carmichael for Southern California, standing back on the Southern Cal 10. Golseth from his own 39-yard line boots the ball very close. It was almost blocked by Pucci. The ball comes down and drops out of bounds on about the 18-yard line on this side of the field. So we're going to have the ball put in play on the 18. Southern Cal's ball, 1st and 10 on their own 18. The same men. To enjoy the most refreshing shaves ever, plus convenience and economy worth talking about, get acquainted with the one-piece Gillette Super Speed Razor. Let's get acquainted with the Southern California backfield right now. See who we have down there at quarterback. We have Bozanic at quarter, Bukic at left halfback, Sellers at full, and Al Carmichael. There is Bukic fading back to the right, throws a forward pass downfield, and it's almost intercepted by John Dixon. It was intended for Al Carmichael. Very close to an interception. Got about a minute left to play here in the first half of the ball game. It's scoreless. Substitution coming in now for Southern California. I believe this will be a back. Yep. It's a back. Ditch going out, and Dandoy, Aramis Dandoy, is coming in at the tailback spot. Yeah, it'll be the left halfback post. Singling over to the right with Dandoy in the tailback. This Dandoy is from Torrance, California. Young fellow takes the ball, fades back to his own 5-yard line, back to his own 3. Keeps the ball, is going to run it. Comes right down the middle of the field and drives back to the 15 where he stopped as he stumbles. Don Voss covering him on the stumble. Don Voss, defensive right end, along with George O'Brien, the captain. It looks as though O'Brien has been injured. Is that Don Voss down there, Ed, that's been injured? Don Voss, yeah. Don Voss apparently was hit in the pit of the stomach that time because he seems to have had his wind knocked right out of him. He's getting up to his knees now. And the official was talking to Wisconsin, and the captain, co-captain for Southern California is being called over. That's Lou Welsh. And it looks as though Wisconsin is going to be given a 15-yard penalty from the point of a foul, unnecessary roughness. It's being stepped off from the point of the foul on the 25-yard line, moving it down to the 20-yard line to the 35-yard line. So the ball is on the 35-yard line, just inside of the 35-yard line in Southern California territory. 1st and 10 for Southern California. Coming in for Don Voss is Wimmer. Hugo Wimmer at end for Donald Voss, who was shaken up on the play. He's going to be all right. Single wing over to the right with Dando in the tail for Southern California. Takes the ball, throws the pass way out into the flat on the 40. It's completed on the 40-yard line to Leon Sellers, and Sellers steps out of bounds on the 44. Dornberg was riding his back as he went out of bounds on the 44-yard line. Ball is being walked in, 15 yards into the sideline across the way to make it 2nd down and just about 1 yard to go for Southern Cal on their own 44 with about 50 seconds left to play in the first half of the game. Single wing over to the right, track toward the sidelines. In the tailback, Dandoy. Up back is Sellers, the fullback. Dandoy fades back, throws a pass down the right side, and at the 48-yard line, Tom Nikoloff leaps high in the air, completes the pass, and steps out of bounds on the Wisconsin 47. Ronald Lockman was the fellow who pushed him out of bounds on the Wisconsin 40, call it 7-yard line. 1st down and 10 yards to go for Southern California. They've got about 45 seconds left to play in the first half. Dundoy, who has completed those passes, comes out, and Rudy Bukic comes in. Well, there's a rough one for me to say. Bukic, B-U-C-K, B-U-K-I-C-H, Bukic. Back over to the right in the single wing with Bukic in the tailback. He takes the ball, fades back to his own 40, looks the field over, throws a long pass downfield. It is intercepted by Swieko on the 20. He's back to the 30, to the 35, and letters the ball to a teammate on the 45-yard line. That's Burton Hubley, who takes the lateral and is knocked out of bounds, finally, down about the 50-yard line. Ed Fausch finally making the stop for Southern California. The ball is placed on the 46-yard line. Everyone had jumped up down there to see where that ball was being run. And a clipping penalty apparently is being charged against Wisconsin as a red flag has gone down on the field. And we'll know in a moment whether or not Southern California is going to keep that ball or not. It looks as though Southern Cal gets a break and will keep the ball. Down at the 21-yard line, a red flag went down on the field as the head linesman came in and dropped it. And a clipping penalty is being charged against Wisconsin. 15 yards from that point, and move the ball down to about the 6-yard line. Down on the 6-yard line, the University of Southern California, first down, 6 yards, goal to go, with 31 seconds to play in the first half. Wait a minute. It's Wisconsin's ball. Wisconsin's ball. Wisconsin's ball. We thought the penalty was going to nullify that last play, but instead, the interception goes all right. There is Wisconsin with Haluska on the quarterback sneak, moving into the middle of the line to eat up the time. The officials, the ball on the 6-yard line to Wisconsin. Haluska into the center of the line. So there's the public address announcer announcing it to the thousands here, just as we gave it to you. The penalty was called after the interception had been made. So it meant that Wisconsin held right onto the ball down on their own 6-yard line after the penalty had been stepped off against them. So it did not change hands of the ball. Wisconsin holding as they come up to the line of scrimmage. The gun goes off to end the first half of the ball game, which stands 0-0 between Wisconsin and Southern California. We've seen a whale of a game here in the first half. Raven Dyer will be talking about it in just a moment, but right now, while most prices are zooming, Gillette offers you a bonus special that's a real money saver, believe me. You pay nothing, absolutely nothing, for a 35-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, lather or brushless, with the purchase of 20 easy-shaving Gillette Blue Blades and a handy dispenser. That's right. The cream costs you nothing. You pay only 98 cents, the price of the blades alone. Fast-acting Gillette shaving creams soften whiskers in a hurry and make shaving much more enjoyable. Also, they contain K34, the amazing facial antiseptic that gives valuable protection against unsightly skin conditions caused by infectious germs. Ask for Gillette's bonus facial. Get the big combination package holding both the blades and cream. But hurry, the supply is limited. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a scoreless first half between Wisconsin and Southern California. And I said a few minutes ago that Raven Dyer was making that pencil go like chicken scratching over there, and I know he has a lot of comments to make about the first half of the ball game. So, Raven, while I grab a cup of coffee, it's your microphone.
Thank you, Al Helfer. Yes, it is a tight, hard football game. The score, 0-0, and the first down, 7-6 in favor of Southern California, which shows you how tight that is. And I don't have the full yardage figures available at this time, but I think you'll find that the two teams are very close in the amount of yardage gained. Wisconsin has been a little stronger on the ground. The Trojans are stronger through the air. So we'll have to go into the second half to get a score out of this football game. You know, we had a wonderful Tournament of Roses parade out here this morning. As I drove over from Los Angeles, coming to the game, I saw thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of people walking along the streets away from the Rose Tournament parade, which had just been concluded. They tell me that 1.5 million persons from the 48 states of the Union and from foreign lands witnessed the most colorful, moving, breathtakingly beautiful spectacle ever to express the spirit of free man through exquisite flower design and inspiring theme. The famous Pasadena Tournament of Roses parade and its equally renowned classic, the Rose Bowl game. All this New Year's morning, the bright dawn of 1953, has been traditionally saluted by a procession of brilliantly wrought and wondrously flower-decorated floats, giving living significance to this year's Tournament of Roses theme, Melodies and Flowers. None can witness the Rose Parade without realizing the tremendous, unselfish hard work and creative effort that goes into making of the whole tremendous scope of beauty and sport which the Tournament of Roses represents. You get the feeling that the Tournament of Roses is truly of, by, and for the people. The big game between Wisconsin and Southern California is only one half of the wonderful program. And the roar from the huge crowd of 1,000 persons that greets this sports classic so typically American and so typically a facet of freedom. In the home, on the battlefield, in the hospital, on shipboard, millions thrill as the magic of radio and television sweeps all trouble from the mind with stirring accounts of the sports climax of the year, the Rose Bowl game. Yet there is something bigger than the clash and the score. For on the springy turf of the huge stadium, 22 spirited American youths contest for goals in America's best-loved sport, football. Down on the green field, there is no bigotry, there is no racial prejudice, there is no class distinction. the finest physical specimens of the American melting pot of freedom, vie splendidly to earn the greatest material prize their country offers, plaudits of their fellow Americans. It is justly characteristic of a young America, founded in freedom and built on sweat and toil, that it turns to hot and hardy sports for recreation. Americans will always thrill to rugged sport and skill and fiercely guard their rights to so engage, an honest heritage from free and independent forefathers. And somewhere this day, from a more than earthly Rose Bowl, those pioneers of the Tournament of Roses are beaming approval on this 1953 version of the great pageant that they worked so unselfishly to create and perpetuate. May they never be betrayed. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. And now at halftime, I have some guests here who are going to talk to you about what they have seen. First of all, I want to present the sports editor of the Los Angeles Evening Herald and Express, George T. Davis. George, would you come in and tell us what you think of that first half? Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Braven. I'm very happy to be here. I think that the first half showed two great defensive clubs. I've been sitting next to Frankie Albert, who's offensively minded, and a few seats away from Joe Steidaha, who is one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time and former coach of the Rams. Both of them were tremendously impressed with the defensive play of both the Trojans and the Badgers of Wisconsin. Unfortunately, neither team has been able to unleash a drive that has been consistent, except on two occasions, and on both times they were stopped by intercepted passes. I think that Wisconsin has shown a little bit more of a flashy attack by bringing Burks and Witt into the clear on two sneak plays in which the Trojan defense was crossed up. But in no time could they go ahead and capitalize on this opportunity. The Trojans, of course, have been hurt by the injury to Sears, Jim Sears, who has not been hurt all year, taken out of the game, as Braven has told you, and he's over on the sidelines with his left ankle being untaped, and they've had it packed in ice, and I do not know whether he'll be back or not. However, his alternates have done fine work. Bukic and later in the second quarter, Dandoy have been passing fine. I think Bukic's passing to Stillwell, which took the ball down to the 23-yard line, gave the Trojans an opportunity, but unfortunately, Dornberg intercepted a pass to end it. Thank you very, very much, Braven. It's a pleasure to be with you again.
George, we're glad to have you here, and thanks for that observation. And now from New York, my very good friend and a wonderful sports writer, Gratland Rice. Gratland, what have you seen out there on the field during the first half?
Well, Braven, I've never seen two teams that were more evenly matched myself. I would call it a battle of defense and no offense. I haven't seen any offense except in spots. It's been all defense today.
Yes, it has been a rugged defensive game. I think that's typical of a lot of football today, isn't college football, the way it's swinging to defense.
I think the kicking of Cook has been a feature. I think it's the finest exhibition of kicking I've seen in 2 or 3 years. I haven't seen any better in a long time.
He's the best college kicker in the country by, I think, about a tenth of a decimal point over the boy from Utah, I think it is, Jordan.
I would say that he'd match any of the pros I've seen as a punter myself, really.
Well, Granny, we're always glad to have you out here in Southern California, and thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for letting me come, Braven. I just had a message from a friend of yours, Henry McLemore, says, please call him up. So I'll give you that message.
Well, I'll do that. Thank you, Granny. And now from the Midwest, the able sports editor of the Milwaukee Journal, representing the Big Ten and all of the Midwest, Russ Lynch. Russ, glad to have you here.
Oh, Braven, it's a pretty tough game out there. Pretty hard play. I think I can tell the people in the Midwest that we've had our bad luck. Don Voss got hurt there, and a lot of the second half will depend on whether he's able to get back in there or not. It was pretty discouraging at first when the boys couldn't move that ball by running, but that pass from Haluska to Burks for 28 yards loosened them up a little bit, and things looked better after that. I think that Werman and Witt are playing the best games that they've played all season, and the rest of the boys aren't far behind.
Russ, we don't have any report up here on either Sears or Hutchison, both of whom have been hurt. star halfbacks of the two teams. Did you get any report about Hutchison? Will he be able to go back in?
I had none on any of the boys,
I see.
and I'm a little worried.
Well,
I'm more worried about Voss than I am about
I see. Well, we'll hope that neither of them are seriously hurt, and we're very glad to have you out here, and I hope you can come back again soon, right?
Fine, Braven. It's a great place out here.
You Midwestern fans know the next man very well. He coached in the Big Ten for a long time, and then we got him out here on the Pacific Coast. He's done a wonderful job at the University of California and had 3 very fine teams here in the Rose Bowl. Very happy to introduce Coach Lynn Waldorf at the University of California. Lynn, what have you seen?
Well, I've seen some mighty fine defense, Braven. We thought that in the Trojans we had the finest defensive unit in the country, and Wisconsin is very nearly matching them. It's one of the most interesting defensive games that I've ever seen.
Do you think, Lynn, that the field is hampering the boys a little bit? I know I watched them fall a couple of times. It looks fairly fast, doesn't it?
It looks fast to me. I haven't been down on it, Braven. I think it's been improved quite a bit over the past several years. I recall that in our Michigan game, for example, that we had boys slip, and so did Michigan, and I haven't seen nearly as much slipping today.
Does any one particular player impress you more than any other out there this afternoon?
Well, there are a number of fine players. I'm particularly impressed with number 85, the Wisconsin...
Werman. Playing a tremendous defensive game, isn't he?
He has the ability to sift through interference in fine style. I don't think he's been well blocked all afternoon. I think the 3 linebackers are doing a good job. And number 71, I've noticed in there quite a bit. The Trojans are... using their usual defense and using it very effectively. They're just as fast as ever. The loss of Saldus, Welch is certainly playing a very fine game in Saldus' place. In fact, he intercepted a pass and doing a very good job.
Well, Lynn, thanks for that observation, and we're glad to have had you up here, and we hope we'll have you back in the Rose Bowl soon.
Thank you, Brady.
Now from the Midwest, a very famous football coach. He's had 2 teams in the Rose Bowl, both of them victorious, the first over UCLA and the last one last year over Stanford. It's a pleasure to welcome the fine coach from the University of Illinois, Ray Elliott. Ray, what have you seen down there thus far?
Seen a lot of defense, Braven. Both those teams are doing a splendid job in defense. Neither one can do an awful lot of running, but some passing, and I think Wisconsin's got a little edge on running so far.
I would think so. The first downs, as I said earlier, are 7-6 in favor of Southern California, but I think when the yardage figures come up, it'll prove that Wisconsin has run for more yardage than Southern Cal, and perhaps Southern Cal has passed for a little more than Wisconsin. Wouldn't that be it?
That's just about right, Braven. Yes, sir.
Ray, is Wisconsin doing anything much different today than they did when you met them or throughout the Big Ten season?
No, sir. They're doing just about the same thing, about the same type of defense, about the same type of offense, with the end splitting out there wide and running Amici all over. He's a fine hard running back, and playing about the same game. I think the defense on both sides, you've got to pay tribute to those defenses because they've been doing a remarkable job.
Yes. Do you care to say which team you think will win? Is there any trend or indication that appears to your expert eyes that might let us in on a secret?
Nothing right now, Braven. 2 or 3 of their marches have been broken up, of course, by good pass defense. Can't tell what might have happened either end of the field there. If that pass down there close to them might have been caught, they might have either one of them gone in there. But no, sir, they all we can say back in the Middle West, we are rooting for Wisconsin, as you would be rooting for Southern California. It looks like a mighty fine game. 2 well-drilled teams doing a fine job.
Fine, Ray. We appreciate your coming up, and we hope, too, that you'll be back with your team in the Rose Bowl soon. You've given us plenty of thrills out here.
Thank you, Braven. Hope so.
That was Ray Elliott, the coach of the University of Illinois team, which won 2 games here in the Rose Bowl, winning last year over Stanford by a score of 40-7. Out on the field now, we have the fine band of the University of Southern California, led by Tommy Walker. Tommy Walker suited up for the Rose Bowl game against Michigan here when Michigan defeated Southern Cal by a score of 49-0 in 1948. But Tommy was only a conversion artist. He did nothing else but kick points after touchdown, so he didn't get a chance to do anything more than limber up before the game because the Trojans didn't get any touchdowns. But at least he appeared on the field as a player during the practice period, and thus is rather unique as a band leader. The band is coming into a formation saluting the Wisconsin rooting section, which is on this side of the field, just below our press box. And from out of the skies comes a parachute with a gentleman, I assume it is a gentleman, coming down. He looks like a paratrooper, and he lands just outside the stadium. Just missed the far end of the stadium here. Came down, it looked like about 50 miles an hour, and I hope that when he landed that he was not hurt. The band, as I say, is saluting the Wisconsin rooting section. And prior to this, the card section of the Southern California rooting section had put the face of Wisconsin's famed mascot, the Badger, in bold relief over there, and the Wisconsin rooters gave a mighty roar and a salute to the Trojans for that. And the rooting section also saluted the two coaches, Ivy Williamson and Jess Hill. They gave a block W for Wisconsin, first red on white and then changing to white on red. And the students then also, of course, displayed their own initials and made a huge silhouette of Tommy Trojan and the symbol of Trojan power, the Trojan war horse. The University of Southern California, in their big card section, generally have a little over 1,700 students. And they're supposed to be one of the first schools in the country to have started the use of card stunts between halves at football games. The fine Wisconsin band was playing and also entertaining us out on the field at the time that I was introducing and interviewing the coaches and the sports writers. At this time, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This is Billings, KGHL.
As I was saying, we had the Wisconsin band on while we were having the interviews. It is led by that very able director, Ray Dvorak, and includes 148 entertainers. You might be interested in how it is broken up. There are 10 fanfare trumpets, 12 tubas, 12 drums, 4 piccolos, 16 trombones, 34 cornets, 13 saxophones, 8 horns, 37 clarinets, and 2 bells. I believe you can hear the Trojan chorus across the field. Team is now back on the field. We have a scoreless game after the first 2 quarters. The Trojans are trying to win their 300th football game today. SC played its first football game in 1888, 8 years after the university was founded. Since that time, the Trojans have won more than 70% of their games. And now with the Trojans on the field and Wisconsin soon to arrive, I give you back your play-by-play announcer, Al Helfer. Al?
All right, Braven, thank you very much. Fans, the spectacle here this afternoon at Pasadena's Rose Bowl is one of the finest we've seen in many, many years. And right now on the field, all the pageantry one could expect of a classic such as this in sunny California. And I'd like to take just a moment here now to talk to the fans and say to ease off whiskers smooth as silk and enjoy swell-looking shaves that really pep you up, get acquainted with the modern Gillette Super Speed Razor. This is a one-piece Gillette of ingenious design and precision manufacture. It has nothing to take apart or put together, nothing to waste your time or try your patience. Also, it changes blades at a flash, rinses clean instantly, and never jams or clogs. Yes, from every standpoint, it is the easiest shaving and most convenient razor you ever laid against your face. Why not see for yourself how refreshing shaving can be? Buy a Gillette Super Speed Razor that combines instant blade changing with utmost shaving comfort and double-edge economy. Complete with the Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and durable styrene travel case that opens at a touch, it is yours for only $1. And now the ball clubs are coming back on the field. The Wisconsin Badgers and the Trojans of Southern California. Braven, I know you have a word.
Al, the statistics for the first half have arrived, and they bear out what Ray Elliott said and what I said. The net yardage gained from running plays by Wisconsin, 99 yards. The net yardage gained by the Trojans from running plays is a loss, minus 16. They lost a lot of yardage on pass plays when the man decided not to pass. Lost 43 yards, gaining 27, a net loss of 16. Through the air, however, the Trojans gained 100 yards, so the total net yardage running and passing for the two teams favors Wisconsin, 127 to 84. Now back to Al Helfer.
We are checking the starting lineups for the second half of a scoreless ball game here at the 39th playing of the Rose Bowl game at Pasadena, California, being sent to you by Gillette over this NBC network. And for Wisconsin, the starting lineup for Wisconsin will be the same as finished the ball game in the first half. So it means that we'll have Peters, Pritchlick, Steinmetz, Simkowski, Stensby, Brent, and Rakowski in the forward wall. We'll have Burks at left halfback. Haluska will be at quarterback. Jerry Witt will be at right halfback, and Alan Michi will be at fullback. For Southern California, we'll have Stillwell at left hand, apparently, in place of Ron Miller. We'll have Thompson at left tackle, Will Hoyt at left guard, Welsh at center, he's the co-captain, Viviani at right guard, Weeks at right tackle, and Nikoloff at right end. We may have Bob Cox of Pasadena in there at right guard. We'll see that and know that in a moment as Des Cook comes out to kick off for Southern California, who will defend the goal to our right, the southern goal, kicking off to Wisconsin. We have Gerald Witt and Archie Burks deep back on the goal line in receiving position. In the backfield for Southern California, we'll have Bozanic at quarterback. We'll have Bukic at left halfback. And at right halfback, Al Carmichael. And at fullback, as that's Leon Sellers. We're ready for the kickoff. Sellers will be in the ball game just as soon as Cook kicks off for Southern California. It's a scoreless ball game as we move into the second half of the affair here at Pasadena, with the lights having been turned on to ensure a brilliant second half as far as visibility is concerned. Mr. Springer, the referee, has blown his whistle. Cook moves forward, boots that ball deep into Wisconsin territory, and it is being taken down on the Wisconsin 6-yard line by Gerald Witt. He comes back on this side of the field to the 9-yard line. It's being bottled up and knocked down on a pass from Bukic to Al Carmichael in the end zone, and Sokolosis, making the extra point, has given the Trojans a 7-point bulge. We have 6 minutes and about 50 seconds left to play in the third period. Tight T in the backfield for Wisconsin on this move. Haluska takes the ball, fades back, throws the pass downfield. It's completed to Peters. Peters at the 40-yard line. It's hit at the 40-yard line, pushed back to about the 39-yard line. Peters, the receiver, is down on his own 38-yard line. Officials come in immediately. And let's see, that's not going to be enough for a first down for Wisconsin. However, they have moved up to within about a yard or a yard and a half of making it the first down. Makes it second, let's call it 1. Second and 1 on the 38. The ball about 20 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. Wisconsin pass, Haluska to Kenton Peters. Wide flanker moving to the left is Gerald Witt. Behind the balance line with the end split out a yard. Haluska takes the ball and fades off to the left, getting protection from Amici. Throws downfield, and there's a completed forward pass to the 50. It is Gerald DeWitt. Picked that ball off the 50-yard line. Picked up 2 more as he stepped over to the 48-yard line. In the territory of Southern California, tackled by Harry Welsh, the defensive halfback. It's Wisconsin's ball on the 48-yard line in Trojan territory. First down and 10 yards to go. And the Badger cheering section sets up the howl of go, go, go. First down, 10 yards to go for the Badgers on the Southern California 48-yard line. Tight T in the backfield. Haluska takes the ball, fades back, throws a little screen pass out in the front on the left side. It's completed. The receiver down to the 40, down to the 35-yard line. That's Gerald Witt. And is hit at the 35-yard line in Southern Cal territory and dumped. But a red flag has gone down on the field, and it looks as though we're going to have a penalty to be charged against Southern California for illegal use of hands.
This marker is on the Trojan 46.
On the Trojan 46-yard line is where the penalty occurred, where the infraction of the rule incurred. And we'll see what's going to happen. Illegal use of hands by Southern California. That means they'll be penalized from the 46-yard line where the foul occurred. The official is about to step it off right now after having made the signals to the press box and for everyone in the stadium here to see. Ball being stepped down to the Southern California 30-yard line. Wisconsin's ball, first down, 10 yards to go. 15 yards into the sideline across the way. Well, this is definitely a break for the Badgers. They're trailing in this ball game 7-0. Southern California leading. Southern Cal at game time were 6.5-point favorites. Flank T for Wisconsin. The flank is to the left. The balance line as usual with the end split a yard. Haluska pitching back to Big Amici, the fullback, who tries the left side of the line, is hit over on the 30 and knocked out of bounds on the 30-yard line by Lyndon Crow of Corcoran, California, playing defensive right halfback for Southern Cal. Ball moved up to the 30-yard line, or down to the 30-yard line, depending upon which way you look at it. If you're looking at it from the Wisconsin side of the fence, they've moved down to the Southern California 30. 2 yards, second down, and about 9.5 to 10 yards to go. It's very close to being 10 yards. Burke's on the flank for Wisconsin on the T formation. Haluska takes the ball, fades back 10 yards, throws a pass. That is incomplete to Gerald Witt. Scoops right out of his crooked arms, down on the 30-yard line. The motion was going to the right, fading off to the right. The pass was made in that direction. That'll make it third down. Let's call it 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 30-yard line. 5 minutes left to play in the third period, with Southern Cal leading Wisconsin 7-0. And a very hard-fought battle here this afternoon. It's had the thousands here in the stadium, really jumping around. Flanker off to the right for Wisconsin is Gerald Witt. The end is split about 2 to 3 yards on this play. Haluska takes the ball, turns around, pitches back to Amici. Two-man interference. Amici drives the ball down to the 25-yard line. Bob Piviani, the left guard, rolling under to make the stop for Southern Cal. Sort of slid over and just rolled under the play on the 25-yard line to stop Amici. He had to take interference and all, and he did it. It'll be fourth down for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 25-yard line, about 16, 17 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. Fourth down and 5. They send the flanker DeWitt way out to the left. The ends are split wide. Wouldn't surprise at all to see a pass play on this one. Haluska takes the ball and fades back. That's what it's going to be. Throws a little screen pass. It's completed on the 30 to Andrikowski. Andrikowski down to the 10 and out of bounds on the 11-yard line. He stepped back to avoid attacker. He stepped out on the 11. Craig Clayton was the fellow who bundled him up on the 10. So it is first down. 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 11-yard line. Well, one can never tell. This is a pretty tight spot. And time is being taken out by Southern California. And with Southern California taking time out, the score is Southern California 7, Wisconsin nothing, but Wisconsin's on the drive. But fans, how you fix for blades? You know how a fellow sometimes gets down to his last Gillette blue blade, forgets to buy a fresh package, and winds up having to make an old blade do. So keep plenty on hand to avoid inconvenience and discomfort. And now is a swell time to stock up. While the supply of combination blades holds out, you'll get a 35-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, leather or brushless, as a bonus with a dispenser holding 20 easy shaving Gillette blue blades for 98 cents, price of the blades alone. Believe me, Gillette shaving creams are superb beard softeners and make shaving lots easier. Also, they contain K34, the valuable facial antiseptic. Ask for Gillette's bonus facial now. The supply of combination packages is going fast. Look sharp. Feel sharp. Be sharp. Use Gillette blue blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. Well, believe me, this has turned out to be a pretty sharp ball game. Down on the Southern Cal 11-yard line, it's Wisconsin's ball. First down, 10 yards on the 11. 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. Now let's see what the operation is down on the field. A flanker to the left. Haluska is ready to take the ball tight under center. He does. Fades off to the left, getting protection from Amici. Throws a pass downfield to Burke, and it's incomplete at the goal line, just over Burke's fingertips. Burke tried to grab that ball before having stepped out of bounds, but Lyndon Crow was there also. Burke wasn't able to get his hand on the ball. That's Archie Burks from Louisville, Kentucky, a senior at 165 pounds. He has taken the place of Bill Hutchinson at left halfback for Wisconsin. Substitute in for Southern California. Out comes number 77. 77 coming out of the ball game. That's Walt Ashcraft from Long Beach, California. Coming into the ball game, Charlie Ane. A-N-E, pronounces his name Ane, from Honolulu. Second down, 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern California 11-yard line. flank T is off to the left. Alushka waiting for the ball. Pitches back to Amici, the big fella, with one man interference, cracks off the right side, drives down to the 10-yard line, struggles and fights his way to about the 8. And that's all. Down he goes on the 8-yard line. Rolling onto the play that time was a young fellow right now is being shaken up. That's Timberlake.
On the 7-yard line.
Ball is resting on the make it 7-yard line. That's where the official placed it, on the 7, right in front of the goalpost. Third down, about 6. Third and 6 for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 7. Using almost an 8-man line in defense now, Southern Cal, as the tee is off to the left. Alushka taking the ball, fading off, goes into the end zone, incomplete. As it goes out of bounds, just about the goal line. Irvin Andrikowski, the right end, was down there to try to receive that ball, but it was about 2 feet over his head, and he couldn't make it. It'll be 4th down coming up for Wisconsin. 4th down and 6 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern California 7-yard line. Coming in at quarterback, Burton Hubley from Bloomer, Wisconsin. He's the fellow that holds for the point after touchdowns, etc. Are they going to try one? They certainly are. Paul Swaco is going to try for a field goal. And he'll kick the ball from the 14-yard line. Waiting for the ball to be snapped back. It's going to be Gerald Witt to hold that ball. Jerry Witt. And he does not kick the ball. Jerry Witt takes the pass from center, runs off the right side to the 5, and to the 4, and he is knocked out of bounds on the 5-yard line, and there's a clipping penalty. There is a clipping penalty down on the field. Who draws that clipping penalty, we'll know in a moment. It could be Wisconsin, or it could be Southern California. The ball was out of bounds on the 4. Of course, that will not be a first down for Wisconsin, but we'll know in a moment who draws the penalty. A clipping penalty is being charged, apparently against Wisconsin. That'll go from the point of foul. And while we wait for them to line up down there, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
On Wisconsin was declined by...
This is Billings, KGHL, the Northwestern Auto Supply Company station.
On the Trojan 2-yard line.
Right back here at Pasadena, California, in the Rose Bowl. This is Al Helfer with Braven Dyer. Southern California has declined the 15-yard penalty for clipping against Wisconsin, what means they take over the ball on, call it the 3-yard line. So it's Southern California's ball on their own 3. First down and 10 yards to go with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the third period. Southern Cal is leading in this Rose Bowl game, 7-0. A hike over to the right to single wing for Southern California. Sellers, the fullback, takes the ball and bucks into the right side of the line, and he moves over about 1 yard up to the 4. We have a substitution now for Southern California. Harold Hahn is coming into the ball game. He's from Honolulu. He'll replace Sellers at fullback. So the backfield now for Southern California is Bozanik at quarter, Rudy Bukic at left halfback, Al Carmichael at right half, and Harold Hahn, weighing 186 pounds, is at fullback. Al Carmichael is going out of the ball game, and we're going to have someone coming in for him. Let's see. It's going to be Cook. Apparently they're going to get this ball out of there on 2nd and 9. We have Dave Samitsky coming back into the game for Wisconsin, so it proves that he wasn't shaken up too badly. Samitsky coming back in at left tackle for Wisconsin, replacing Mark Haig. There is Cook standing in front of his own goalpost. The ball is snapped to him. He gets the boot away. It's a nice one coming downfield. This kid can kick. On the 40-yard line is Paul Swaco taking the ball and runs it back 5 more yards to the Southern Cal 35, where he's hit and dropped by Ron Miller and also Lou Welsh, the center and captain of Southern Cal. So it is Wisconsin's ball on the Southern Cal 35-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go, 15 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the third period. Southern Cal leading 7-0. A pass from Bukic to Al Carmichael in the end zone for 6 points. And Sagalakis made the extra point. He's the specialist here, kicking the extra point. Made it good, and it's 7-0 Southern Cal. Wide flank to the left on the tee for Wisconsin on 1st and 10 on the Trojan 35. Winding up with the ball is Burks, the left halfback on the handoff. Bucks his way down to the 30-yard line, stepping off between right guard and right tackle with George Timberlake, the linebacker, making the stop for Southern California. That'll make it 2nd down, coming up in 5 yards to gain. 2nd and 5 for Wisconsin on the 30-yard line in Southern California territory, as the Badgers go back and huddle on the Southern Cal 35-yard line. Up they come, stepping to the line of scrimmage, splitting the ends wide, sending a flanker to the left. That is Gerald Witt, the flanker on the left. Andrikowski is back at right end now for Wisconsin. Panuska calling the signals out, takes the ball and fades off to the left, gets protection from Amici. There's a pass being thrown way downfield. Witt is not going to get this one. It's intercepted by Lyndon Troll right on the 6-yard line. Was it intercepted before he stepped out? We'll know that in a moment. Apparently it was intercepted before he stepped out of bounds on the far sideline. And it's taken on the 7-yard line, meaning that the interception gives Southern California the ball on their own 7. First down and 10 yards to go. Well, you men who are enjoying this broadcast this afternoon will get a heap of shaving satisfaction with the Gillette Super Speed Razor. It changes blades in a jiffy, rinses clean instantly, and gives the best-looking, most refreshing shaves ever. First down, 10 yards to go for the Trojans on their own 7. Aramis Dandoy in at left halfback. He's in the tailback position right now. Takes the ball, fades off to the right, and cracks over his own right tackle, moving from the 7 to about the 9 for 2 yards, with John Dixon making the stop for Wisconsin. The ball moves up to the 9-yard line. Dornberg was also in on the play. Dornberg's the left linebacker. Ball on the 9-yard line for a pickup of 2, making it 2nd and 8 for Southern Cal on their own 9. 15 yards into the sideline across the way. Running out of the single wing to the right, it is Dandoy from Torrance, California, in the tailback, about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They hike into a short kick formation. Dandoy stays in the tailback. The ball is given to the fullback, Hahn. He's through the middle of the line, bucks over the 10 up to about the 13. Hit and dropped at either the 13 or 14 by John Dixon and Dornberg. That ball is going to be on the 14-yard line, apparently. It's going to be that close to the 15. The ball is being placed down at the 14-yard line. That's exactly where it's being placed, on the 14. About 15 yards in from the sideline across the way, makes it 3rd down and approximately 3 yards to go for the University of Southern California. They lead 7-0 over Wisconsin. About 40 seconds to play in the 3rd period. There's a short kick formation once more. They hike out of the single wing into that short kick. And there's a spin and a give to the halfback. Carmichael coming off the wing. He's around the left side. Up to the 20-yard line. Hit at the 20, but shakes the tackler off and fights his way to his own 25-yard line, where he goes out of bounds with John Dixon of Wisconsin hanging on. Al Carmichael of Inglewood, California, in at right halfback. The boy who came off the wing that time with a short kick formation was a spin by the fullback Hahn in the short bucking spot. He gave it over to the halfback coming off the left side. So it's a first down and 10 yards to go for Southern California on their own 25-yard line. 15 yards in from the sideline on his side of the field. Running out of the single wing to the right, as they usually do, it is Dandoy in the tailback. The ball comes back, however, to the fullback, Hahn. He pounds his way into the right side of the line, hitting the 25-yard stripe, moves over to about the 27. Again, Dixon is in there to make the stop, along with O'Brien. Dornberg was also in on the play. The ball resting on the 28-yard line. That makes it 2nd down and 7 on the pickup of 3 yards by the plunging fullback, Harold Hahn. Scarlet-shirted or cardinal-shirted Trojans come out of the line. And there is the end of the 3rd period. And the score is Southern Cal 7 and Wisconsin nothing. Well, fans, enjoy the best-looking, most invigorating shaves ever and save money to boot. Ask for Gillette's bonus special now on store counters everywhere. You pay nothing for a 35-cent cube of Gillette leather or Gillette brushless shaving cream with the purchase of a dispenser holding 20 Gillette Blue Blades for 98 cents. That's just the price of the blades alone. Gillette Blue Blades are the sweetest shaving blades on earth. Yes, sir, and Gillette shaving creams are superb beard softeners that contain K34, the amazing facial antiseptic. So take advantage of this money-saving opportunity. Ask for Gillette's bonus facial. Get the combination package holding both the blades and cream for only 98 cents. But hurry, the supply is limited. Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. We're moving into the 4th quarter of the Rose Bowl game at Pasadena, California. And Norbert Esser from Madison, Wisconsin comes in to replace Lundeen at right end for Wisconsin on the defense. 2nd down and 7 yards to go for Southern Cal on their own 28-yard line as they've changed sides now. And Southern Cal defends a goal to our left, a goal to the north. Dandoy from a short kick formation in the tailback spot fades off to the right, throws a pass downfield. It's completed on the 38-yard line to George Bozanic, the quarterback who sneaked across the line, button hooked off to the right, took the ball, hit at the 38, and dropped to the 39. John Dixon making the stop for Wisconsin. Well, that's going to be enough for Southern Cal. First down on their own 39-yard line. The ball equidistant between sidelines. It's been quite a ball game here this afternoon. Not a high-scoring affair, but a hard-fought ball game. Southern Cal leads 7-0 over Wisconsin. Short kick formation with Dandoy in the tailback and Hahn up close. Hahn taking the ball and a direct buck off the left side. He's through the left side of the line, up to the 50-yard line. Cracking tackle, hit and dropped on the Wisconsin 47-yard line. Burton Hubley and Paul Schweko making the stop for Wisconsin as Southern Cal picks up another first down on the Wisconsin 47. That Hahn really went through there like a pistol shot. Single wing over to the right. They break out of that on the second set of signals into a short kick formation. And from the tailback, it is Dandoy running the right side of the line, keeps the ball, and piles into the 42-yard line. Dornberg making the stop with Carl Martin. Carl Martin, the defensive right tackle. Second and about 5. Second down and 5 yards to go. And time is being called out by Southern California. Southern California calling timeout. The score is Southern Cal 7 and Southern Cal 7, Wisconsin nothing. Well, fans, I'm giving it to you straight when I say that a man enjoys utmost shaving comfort and convenience with a one-piece Gillette Super Speed razor. This razor sets up whiskers as a barber does and skims them off as easy as pie. Yes, sir, it gives you the best-looking, most refreshing shaves of your life. What's more, it changes blades presto, rinses clean in a jiffy, and never jams or clogs. Why not see for yourself how quick and easy and how smooth and refreshing shaving can be? Why not get a one-piece Gillette Super Speed razor and enjoy matchless shaving satisfaction? Ask for a Gillette Super Speed razor set at any convenience store. You'll get the razor plus a handy Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and easy-opening styrene travel case for just $1. The Trojan Band, let's listen. Well, we're getting ready for the action down on the field now as Wisconsin comes out of its huddle. The ball resting on the 42-yard line of Wisconsin, where the upcoming down for Southern Cal is the second. They have 5 yards to gain. A hike to the right and a single wing. They break out of that as the end split wide into a short kick formation. Dandoy in the tailback. The ball to Hahn, the fullback in the bucking spot. Hits off the left side over the 40-yard line down to about the 38. Again, that's Dixon rolling under the middle linebacker. Number 67, Bob Kennedy, the middle guard, also in on the play. He rolled under along with the middle linebacker. And the official has asked for the chain to be rolled out to see whether or not it's going to be a first down for Southern Cal on the Wisconsin approximately 38-yard line. There's the chain being stretched. It is not enough for Southern Cal first down. Means third and about a half yard to go. Could even be shorter than that. Probably about a foot. So the clock continues to run with 13 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the fourth period. Ball about 20 yards in the sideline on this side of the field. Single wing over to the right. Hahn from the bucking spot hits the right side of the line and drives up to the 35, and that's going to be enough for a first down. Hit and stop by the left side of the Wisconsin forward wall. Saminsky, Werman, Kennedy moved over from his middle guard job to be also in on the play. Number 67, Bob Kennedy, was on the bottom of that pile. First down and 10 yards to go for the Trojans on the Wisconsin 35-yard line. Ball is about 20 yards in from the sideline on this side of the field. Now we're set to go. There's the 5-3-3 defense now. There's pitch out from the fullback to Dandoy running out of a short kick formation. Dandoy after the 30, hit at the 30 on the line of scrimmage by Dixon, and Schweko got it right back to the 30-yard line. So from the 35 to the 30 for just about a 5-yard pickup. Makes it 2nd and 5 for Southern Cal on the Wisconsin 30-yard line. But less now than 12 minutes to play in the fourth period. Southern Cal leading 7-0. Single wing to the right. Out of it, the end split wide. They go into a short kick formation. Dandoy in the tailback. Hahn handling the ball. Hands off to Carmichael coming around. The reverse has a one-man interference, and Carmichael gets back to the line of scrimmage at the 30 on the far sideline and knocked out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by Schweko, and number 62 was also in on that play. That's George O'Brien. George O'Brien was the final fellow to push him out of bounds, back on the 31, actually. Makes it the third down coming up and about 5.5 yards to go. Let's call it 6 yards to go. Southern Cal moving up to the line of scrimmage on the Wisconsin 31. Flanker out to the right on a single wing. They hop into a short kick formation. He stays out there. Dandoy in the tail, rather Bukic in the tailback now, takes the ball and fades back. Throws a pass to Al Carmichael down on the 30-yard line. It's completed. He steps 1 yard, and that's all. He's stopped by Archie Burks. Archie Burks making the stop for Wisconsin. Helping him on the play was Dornberg. All right, on the 29-yard line, 15 yards in the sideline on this side of the field, and Southern Cal's ball, 4th and 4 on the Wisconsin 29. Southern Cal out in front, 7-0. Been a bitterly contested ball game all the way. Single wing to the right, once more for Southern Cal behind a balance line. The end split wide, and they hike into a short kick formation with Bukic in the tailback. Bukic takes the ball, fades back, throws right down the middle to the 20-yard line to Nikoloff. It's completed, and he's down immediately on the 20-yard line by Burton Hubley. Burton Hubley helped by John Dixon. First down, 10 yards to go for the Trojans on the Wisconsin 20-yard line. These Trojans have been moving here this afternoon by air. And Wisconsin is taking a little time out down there. While Wisconsin takes time out, let's get over to Braven Dyer. Braven, do you think the 7 points is going to hold up, buddy?
Well, you won't begrudge me if I say I hope so. You know, after 6 long years of drought, I was going to say, if you ask me, looks like everything is almost Dandoy out there for us right now, doesn't it?
Oh, you made one.
Well, it's a tremendous game, Al, as you've been calling it. And I don't know how you could get 2 more evenly matched teams together than these 2 that we have out here today. Here they've gone almost 2 hours now. It's a little more than 2 hours, and the score is just 7-0. And with a little more luck, why, Wisconsin could have had 7 points. The players on both teams are playing it right to the hilt all the way through, and it looks as if Southern California's depth on the bench, with Dandoy and Bukic coming in to replace the injured Sears, may be the deciding factor. Amici has played a tremendous game for Wisconsin, and the Wisconsin line has done a tremendous job. But just as a lot of the experts predicted, Wisconsin might have a little trouble stopping Southern Cal's passing attack, and that has been it. Some wonderful passing by this Rudy Bukic. You know, I was talking to Norman Van Brockton the other night about Bukic's passing ability. You know, Norman's pretty good, and I said that young boy is good enough to play a lot of football. He doesn't get much rating and much mention because, after all, when you're second string to an All-American, you don't play too much, do you, Al Helper?
That's absolutely right, Braven. By George, when you're understudying an All-American, you sit on the bench and bite your fingernails. Well, it's figured out biting time again. First down, 10 yards to go for Southern Cal on the Wisconsin 20-yard line. We have a new backfield in for Southern California. We'll set it for you in a moment. In the meantime, it's Dandoy in the tailback, and Summers is back at full, and he takes the ball from the bucking spot, hits the center of the line, and is stopped by Dave Saminsky. After about a yard pickup, moving the ball to the 19-yard line, right in front of the goalpost. Ball equidistant between sidelines on the 19 in the territory of Wisconsin. The backfield for Southern California, Bozanic at quarter. Armis Dandoy at left halfback. The fullback is Leon Sellers. At right halfback, Al Kirkland from Bakersfield, California, making his first appearance. Senior right halfback. Short kick formation with the end split wide for Southern Cal. Dandoy in the tailback. Runs off to the right, fakes the pass, and is hit behind the line of scrimmage on the 20-yard line to lose a yard. Coming in there is Jerry Werman. Also Saminsky. This boy Saminsky and Werman have both been playing fine games on the left side of the line for Wisconsin. And Amici has been doing a great job for Wisconsin, as Braven Dyer pointed out a minute ago. It's still 7-0, Southern Cal over Wisconsin, with about 9 minutes and 45 seconds left to play in the fourth period. Southern Cal has the ball on the Wisconsin 20, third down and about 9. They go again into a short kick formation with Dandoy in the tailback. The ball to Sellers, and he spins and hands off to Kirkland, who comes around off the left side, cracks in off his own left tackle between left tackle and end, and moves the ball to the 15. He was stopped by 2 Wisconsin men. See who gets up off the bottom of that pile. That's O'Brien getting up. O'Brien along with Bob Kennedy. And once again, we're having a little timeout down there for a substitution, apparently, for Southern California. We're going to get a Southern California substitution coming in the ball game. Dandoy goes out at left halfback. Dandoy's going out at left halfback. Al Kirkland goes out at right halfback, and we have somebody else coming in to try for the extra point. It's going to be Sokoloxis. Sokoloxis to try for a field goal. He's the extra point kicker. He's going to try for a field goal, and to hold the ball will be Harry Welsh. Tsagalakis. He spells his name Tsagalakis and pronounces it Tsagalakis. Boy, there's a tongue twister for you. The ball is resting right now on the 15-yard line, right in front of the Wisconsin uprights. Tsagalakis will try for a field goal. Is that Tsagalakis? Let's check and be sure. That's right, Tsagalakis. And Harry Welsh will hold the ball. Ready for it to be snapped back from center Lou Welsh. Back it comes. It's booted, and it is no good. It hits on the right side of the goalpost and bounces back onto the playing field. Bounces back onto the playing field. The ball is being given to the official now. He'll walk it out to the 20-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 yards to go for Wisconsin. That ball was just inches from being right through the uprights. That's as close as he'll come to making a field goal and never making it. I think everybody was holding breath here this afternoon. It's still a 7-0 ball game as Southern Cal was trying to pick up some insurance. Now Wisconsin puts the ball in play on their own 21st and 10 and sends a flanker to the left on the T formation. Haluska calling the signals off for Wisconsin behind the balance line. Takes the ball, fades off, looks around, looks for someone to pass to who's being chased now, throws the pass way downfield. There's Witt trying to get it, but it's out of bounds on the 50-yard line. Jerry Witt almost had his hands on that ball, almost got under it on the 50-yard line, but to get under it, he had to step out of bounds, and of course, that was all. In the backfield now for Wisconsin, Haluska at quarter. Bill Hutchinson is back at left halfback. Alan Amici is the fullback, and Jerry Witt is the right halfback. The ends are Andrzejkowski at right end and Kenton Peters at left end. We tell you this because we're expecting a lot of passes to fill the air here by Wisconsin with 9 minutes left to play in the ball game. Second down and 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on their own 20-yard line. With the end split wide a yard and a tight T in the backfield, Haluska takes the ball and fades back, gets protection from 3 men, throws a screen pass that's completed on the 15-yard line. The receiver steps to the 25, is hit on the 30, and finally dropped. Jerry Witt stepping all the way down to the 30-yard line, hit at the 30, and dropped on his own 32-yard line. Bob Van Doren trailed the play and finally made the stop from behind. So it's first down and 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on their own 32-yard line. 15 yards in the sideline across the way. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter, with Southern Cal leading Wisconsin in a fine ball game, 7-0. Witt comes to the flank on the left for Wisconsin as Haluska takes the ball and makes as if to go back, but hands the ball over to his fullback, Amici. The big fella pounds without interference through the right side of the line, right guard and right tackle. Moves up to the 40-yard line, is hit at the 40, fights his way on to the 44, where it's first down and 10 yards to go for Wisconsin. George Timberlake making the stop for Southern California. Wisconsin's ball on their own 44, first down and 10 yards to go. The Badgers come battling back here with 7 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the fourth period. From a short kick formation. Wisconsin has a short kick formation going down there, and in the tailback is Haluska. Haluska throws a pass off to the right to Jerry Witt. Jerry on the 40-yard line stumbles and falls, but not quite down. He catches himself and drives down to the 50-yard line. Moves down to the 48-yard line as he's finally hit by Marvin Goo and driven out of bounds on the far sidelines across the way. Say, is that going to be enough for a first down? I hardly think so. It'll look like second and about 2 yards. Second and about 2 for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 48. The ball is on the 48-yard line, 15 yards in from the sideline across the way. Southern Cal sends a tackle in. That's DeRay. Mario DeRay is in at defensive left tackle, rather defensive right tackle for Southern California. He's from Crockett, California, sophomore, 214 pounds. Flanker off to the left is Gerald DeWitt. Second and 2 for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 48. Haluska takes the ball, fades off to the left, is almost got behind the line, throws the ball downfield. DeWitt's in the open and grabs that ball on the 15-yard line and is down immediately. Down by Lyndon Crow. Jerry Witt was out in the open for a moment, and Lyndon Crow closed in on him on the 15-yard line in one of the finest long passes of the day. Haluska to Jerry Witt, the right halfback of Wisconsin. So the Badgers have driven down now to the 15-yard line in Southern Cal territory. 15 yards into the sideline across the way with 7 minutes left to play in the fourth period. Out come the Badgers in a hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Witt goes out to the flank on the right. Hutchinson goes out to the flank on the right. T formation in the backfield. Haluska takes the ball and hands off to Amici, who tries the right side of the line. The neck-high tackle by Fausch gets him at the line of scrimmage. He pushes him back, actually. Pushing back, actually, to about the 17-yard line for a loss of a pair of yards. on to Southern California. Well, the ball is being walked back again to the Southern Cal 17, where it'll be fourth down coming up for Wisconsin. They've been unable to score this afternoon on the Trojan defense. Defensively speaking, Brave and Dyer, I'd say this has been a whale of a defensive ball game all the way, wouldn't you?
You're right there, Al Helfer.
Ball on the 17-yard line, fourth down, and 12 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 17, 15 yards in the sideline across the way. The flagger to the right is Bill Hutchinson, goes over to the sideline. He's about 2 yards in from the sideline across the way. The end is split 2 yards wide. Haluska takes the ball and fades back, then pitches back to Witt, who's running wide on the 25-yard line, is cut back on the 23 and dropped. So they lose from the 17 to the 23 as the tackle is made down here on the right side by George Timberlake. That's going to be all as far as Wisconsin's threat this time is concerned, with Southern Cal taking over on their own 23, first down and 10 yards to go. And in case you didn't catch up with the other bowl games, we'd like to give you some of them. In the Salad Bowl, San Diego 81 and Camp Breckenridge 20, I believe, the final score on that one. The Gator Bowl, University of Florida 14 and Tulsa 13. The Orange Bowl, Alabama 61, Q 6. And the Sugar Bowl, Georgia Tech 24, Mississippi 7. And the Cotton Bowl, Texas 16 and Tennessee nothing. Thank you very much. Ready to go, Southern California. On their own 23-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go. Single wing over to the right. In the tailback is Dandoy. The ball given, however, to Sellers on a fake buck lateral. He's into the right side of the line and bucks up to the 25 to pick up 2. Now at left halfback, in comes Bilkich. Bilkich in at left halfback. That means he'll be running from the tailback. Sears was injured in the early part of the game, and he's watching from the bench now in civilian clothes. The fullback is Sellers. The quarterback, or in the blocking spot, the single wing, is George Bozanic, 207-pounder. And Al Kirkland is in at right halfback for Southern California. Second and about 7.5. The ball is snapped back, and Sellers fumbles the ball and goes back to his own 15 to recover. And Gary Messner in at left linebacker for Wisconsin comes in to make the stop along with Carl Martin. The ball back on the Trojans' 15-yard line. A fumble by Sellers has placed the ball in front of their goalpost on their own 15. Makes third coming up, and 18 yards to go for the Trojans on their own 15-yard line. I see that's Messner in at left halfback, replacing Dornberg, or at left linebacker. And Messner is in at right tackle. Messner's in at right tackle. We thought Dornberg was out. Messner's in at right tackle, replacing Carl Martin. Wide flanker off to the right in a single wing. There's Bilkich back to throw a pass, and it's batted down right in the middle of the line. See who batted that one down. That was number 77. That's Carl Martin in there to bat that one down. Also, Norbert Esser, the defensive right end, was in on the play. It'll be fourth down coming up for Southern California. 18 yards to gain. They have possession of the ball on their own 15-yard line. And Des Cook comes in to do the kicking for Southern Cal. We have 4 minutes and about 15 seconds left to play in the fourth period. Southern Cal leading Wisconsin 7-0. These Trojans have battled hard here this afternoon. Cook standing on his own goal line, kicks a nice pass from center, boots the ball downfield. It's a dandy. Look at that thing go. It bounces down on the 15-yard line. It's picked up on the 15 by Swaco. He's running laterally on the 20-yard line. It's hit at the 20, steps back to the 18, and is finally dropped by Nikolov. Boy, that was really a kick. Before we have the first play from scrimmage now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This is Billings, KGHL, the Northwestern Auto Supply Company station.
Right back here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. This is Al Helfer with Brave and Dyer. Wisconsin from a tight tee in the backfield. The ball handoff to Amici through the middle of the line. A big fellow fights his way to the 30-yard line. Drives down to the 35 before he stopped. Amici right through the middle of the line. Lyndon Crow stopped on the play. Lyndon Crow making the tackle on the 35-yard line. So it's first down, 10 yards to go. And it looks as though time has been taken out down there by Southern California. And I'd like to ask you a question. How you fix for blades, men? Remember, you can't buy them in your bathroom, and it's no fun to find your out. So better grab Gillette's bonus special and stock up. Right now, you get a combination package holding a Gillette dispenser loaded with 20 easy shaving Gillette Blue Blades and a 35-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, leather or brushless, for only 98 cents. Now, that's the price of the blades alone. Yes, sir, you save 35 cents The cream costs you nothing. But when stores are sold out of these combination packages, there won't be any more. So hurry, fellas. Look sharp. Feel sharp. Be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in the fourth period of the ball game. The longest kick in a Rose Bowl game is 70 yards, I believe. Is that right? No, 68 yards. Braven, is that right? 68 yards? That's absolutely right. You have USC.
I saw that one. This one was 76.
How about that, huh? Doggone, we got a record here this afternoon after all. Let's see. Wisconsin has the ball. Harlan Carl has come into the ball game. He's from Greenwood, Wisconsin. Junior at 176 pounds. He's in at left halfback. Harlan Carl. He's been having a lot of trouble with his knee. Haluska steps back and throws to Carl out in the flat. Carl trying to get away. Drives to the 30-yard line. Still on his feet. Fights his way to the 35. Is hit at the 35 and bounces back and is knocked out of bounds on the 34. Lyndon Crow made the stop. That was Harlan Carl taking a pass and stepping out of bounds finally on his own 34. There was some question as to whether Harlan Carr would be able to get in the Rose Bowl game or not. His knee hadn't responded to treatment as everyone thought it should. Flanker to the right for Wisconsin on 2nd and 11. Aliska takes the ball, fades off to the right, looking for someone to pass to. He's being chased, then throws the pass downfield, and it is not complete on his own 45-yard line. Welsh knocked that ball down. It was Dornberg. I'm afraid Dornberg was called as the receiver on that one. We're going to check that and make sure that Dornberg is not playing right halfback. Looked like Lackman. Check the number down there at halfback and make sure. Tight T in the backfield for Wisconsin. The ball is taken, and Haluska hands off to Amici into the middle of the line. It's Dornberg, all right, at right halfback offensively. He's been playing defensively all afternoon, but Dornberg is at right halfback right now for Wisconsin offensively. A red flag on the field on the play. See who draws the penalty. Got 3 minutes left to play in the fourth period. So the backfield for Wisconsin is Jimmy Haluska at quarterback. Alan Amici is the fullback. Roger Dornberg is at right half, and Harlan Carl at left halfback. Elmer Wilhart has been put out of the ball game. Well, played a little bit of rough down there, Braven. You know it? I said, Braven, Wilhart's playing a little rough down there, so they gave him a chance.
I couldn't see what had developed down there, Al. I'd taken my glasses off the play when the man was stopped.
Well, unnecessary roughness is being charged is the penalty which will be inflicted, and Wilhart has been asked to go over and sit out the rest of the ball game. 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness against Southern California. Places the ball on the Wisconsin 49-yard line. 15 yards in the sideline on the side of the field, giving Wisconsin first down and 10 yards to go on their own 49. With 3 minutes and exactly 9 seconds left to play, that's unofficial. It's 7-0 Southern Cal over Wisconsin. The flank tee to the right, the pitch back to Amici. Amici through the right side of the line, flies and pulls his way over to the 45-yard line in Southern Cal territory, where he's stopped by George Timberlake. So it will be second down coming up, and about 4 yards to go for Wisconsin. They're about 20 yards in the sideline across the way as they send a flanker. Well, that's the end. It's a tight T in the backfield. Haluska takes the ball and fades back, looks the field over, throws the forward pass. That is completed down on the 38-yard line of Southern California. That was Ken Peters who had to get down on his knees to grab that one, but that makes it a first down and 10 yards to go for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 38. Ball is equidistant between sidelines on the Southern Cal 38-yard line. Haluska, Harlan Carl, Roger Dornberg, and Alan Amici. Out on the flank goes Harlan Carl to the right. T formation in, split a couple of yards. Haluska takes the ball, fakes off to one man, fades back, throws a pass downfield, and it's completed on the 28-yard line to Kent Peters, and he's knocked out of bounds on the far sideline on the 28. Harry Welsh making the stop for Southern Cal. Ball on the 28-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 28. These Badgers, with 1 minute and 59 seconds left to play in the ball game, are battling to try to get a tie out of this one at least. Southern Cal has played a fine ball game here this afternoon. The West Coast can be mighty proud of the representation they've had this year. A flanker to the right is Harlan Carl. T in the backfield. Haluska takes the ball, fades back, looks for a receiver, throws one right down the middle into the end zone. Carl can't get that one. Incomplete in the end zone. Harlan Carl tried to get into the end zone. Harry Welsh went back with him. Neither could get a hand on the ball. It was way high over the heads of both players. The ball will be brought back to its original position on the Southern Cal 29-yard line. The third down coming up. It's about 1 yard to go, and that's all. But with 1 minute and 52 seconds, Wisconsin had gambled on passes trying to make a touchdown out of it rather than picking up that yard for first down and 10. Flanker off to the right, a quarterback sneak, and the quarterback Haluska pushes his way down to the 24-yard line to make it a first down for on the Southern California 19, and time is being taken out by Wisconsin. Time taken out by Wisconsin with the score standing Southern California 7, Wisconsin nothing. I'd like to make a suggestion, man. While the supply of combination packages lasts, you get a 35-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, leather or brushless, as a bonus with every purchase of a 20-blade Gillette dispenser. You pay only 98 cents, the regular price of 20 Gillette Blue Blades. Ask for Gillette's bonus special. 1 minute and 46 seconds left to play in the fourth period of the ball game, with the Trojans of Southern California leading Wisconsin 7-0. And unless memory serves me wrongly, it was the Trojans of Southern California who last won as West Coast representatives in the Rose Bowl, wasn't it, Braven?
That's right, Al Helfer. They defeated Tennessee in 1945, and that's the last victory scored in the Rose Bowl by a Pacific Coast Conference team. The year after that, they lost to Alabama, and then came the 6 wins by the Big Ten.
Well, by George,
if the score holds up, SC will be the first to win since they last won.
Well, I see you're all reading smiles over there, Braven Dyer. You picked this ball game just this way, and if it holds up for 1 minute and 46 seconds, well, that smile can become a wide grin on your kisser, that's for sure.
Well, Al, we've had some wonderful teams out here from the Big Ten, and they've deserved most of the victories that they've won. I'll say that, definitely.
Well, this Trojan ball club here this afternoon has been fighting and fighting hard. Wide flanker to the right is Harlan Carl in the T formation. Haluska takes the ball, hands off to Amici. He busts into the center of the line, and I don't know how far he got. Just about a yard, and that is all. Frank Pavich from San Francisco made the stop for Southern California, so that'll make it second down. Right on the 25-yard line. They had a big pile-up down there. We couldn't tell just exactly where it was placed. So it is Wisconsin's ball on the Southern California 25-yard line, second and about 11 yards to go. From the tee, Haluska fades back, looks his field over, throws a pass way into the end zone. There goes Cliff in the end zone, and he grabs the ball, then fumbles it and drops it. Harlan Carl fumbled the ball in the end zone, took a pass, juggled it, and dropped it. And you could hear the fans from Wisconsin here in the stands this afternoon actually and literally groan. Harry Welsh was in there to help mess up that play. He'd trailed Harlan Carl all the way. So it'll be 3rd and 11 now for Wisconsin on the Southern Cal 25-yard line. 1 minute and 8 seconds left to play in the fourth period. Oh, this has been a dandy all the way. Carl again to the flank on the right for Wisconsin. Haluska calls his signals. Fades back and pitches back then to his halfback Dornberg, who comes off the left side, is being cut back at the 30, bottled up, but spins away and drives on over to the 24-yard line before he's hit and dropped. Lyndon Crow and Marv Goo making the stop for Southern Cal. Now it'll be 4th down coming up. 4th down coming up for Wisconsin on the Southern California 24-yard line. Dornberg becomes the flanker coming off to the left over to the sidelines, about 2 yards in the playing field. Haluska takes the ball and fades back. He's looking for someone to pass to. There goes Dornberg downfield. Is it going to be Dornberg? It is Dornberg, and it's over his head into the end zone. Into the end zone. So that incompleted forward pass brings the ball out into the end zone, brings the ball out to its original point on the 24-yard line, and Southern Cal takes over with 24 seconds left to play in the fourth period. Boy, I tell you, the West Coast will be wild tonight. And they're going to start right here at this tremendous bowl known as the Rose Bowl. The folks are already starting to chatter it up big. With 24 seconds left to play and the ball in the possession of Southern California. They lead 7-0 over Wisconsin. Single wing over to the right with Bukic in the tailback. Won't make that Dandoy. Dandoy's in the tailback. Ball comes back to the fullback, and Hahn is into the right side of the line to eat up some of the time. Red flag going down on the field. Messner to make the stop for Wisconsin. Red flag down on the field, and we'll see who draws the penalty. Got about 14 seconds left to play in the fourth period. The game is almost over. Southern California is not going to lose this one. You can almost say that for quick and sure. 7-0 in favor of Southern Cal over Wisconsin. They played magnificently here this afternoon. They played doggedly. Southern California, offside penalty. That's been refused. The ball on the 25-yard line. The down is the same. Southern California ready to go. They're back huddling with 14 seconds left to play in the fourth period. Up they come and up to the line of scrimmage. This time it's over to the left for Southern California. Dandorf in the tailback runs wide behind three-man interference. Gets up to his own 20-yard line, to his 25-yard line, and to his 30-yard line before he's stopped by Bob Gingras of Iron Mountain, Michigan. There, the seconds being counted off 2-1. And the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, is over. The West Coast, the Southern Californian Trojans have downed Wisconsin this afternoon, and Jess Hill will be one of the proudest guys in the entire country tonight. The final score, Southern California 7, Wisconsin nothing. And it's a case now of goodbye goalposts. They are already gone. The goalposts have been charged and taken. And Southern California players are carrying Jess Hill off the field. And rightly so, because Jess' boys have played magnificently for him here this afternoon. Perhaps one of the hardest fought ball games Southern California has had all year. They win it. The Rose Bowl is theirs. And the Tournament of Roses is topped by their victory right here at Pasadena this afternoon. I want you to know that it's been a tremendous lot of fun to again be seated here in the Rose Bowl at Pasadena, California. And it's been a pleasure to be able to bring you the play-by-play. And I should like this afternoon, before bowing out for Brave and Dyer, to thank our spotter for Wisconsin, Mr. Ed Hansen, and our spotter for Southern California, Mr. Dick Bank. Gentlemen, I've certainly appreciated all your fine work here this afternoon, and I hope that you all have a very Happy New Year. And for you, Ed Hansen, I hope that Wisconsin comes back stronger than ever next year. And Dick, I sincerely hope that Southern California goes right on as they have started. And now, this is Al Helfer bowing out of the picture, saying Brave and Dyer will summarize the highlights of today's Rose Bowl game for you in just a moment.
Are you using another woman's waving lotion? You are if your permanent is...